What is up, fam? Good to see you. I thought I had my settings fixed. Apparently, I do not. I just am making an announcement now, right? If we look like California raisins, my apologies. Happy Friday. Good to see you guys. What up, Stacks? Thank you, Silent Bob Ross, for coming in with the EMP in the very beginning. Much love to you. Robert Earl White joining us for the first time. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. What up, Yuvonda? Cads. Hello, hello. Taylor, Amelia, Dennis Lindsay, Melody, Jenny Girl, Sherry. Hello. So glad you guys are here. So glad you guys are here. What up, frightening me? Uh, Tyler, how are you, sir?
Perfect. Can't you tell?
Yeah, you're relaxed, laid back.
What? I don't, it was a little laggy when it started, but I'm watching it now and it seems to be smooth
I
sailing.
hope
So,
so. I hope so. I'm still getting dropped frame notification. I really thought I had it fixed yesterday. I had no problems in my testing, but it's all
yeah,
right.
we'll see.
I'm
We'll make it.
gonna get it together at some point.
Let me wave my wand and
Wave
see
wave your wand, right? Make it right. Make it
see if
right.
we're lagging or not.
Right? Oh, this is you guys know I love conspiracy theory trivia night. It's my favorite night. I'm so glad you guys are here with us. A lot of crazy stuff to talk about. What up, Morning Flower? Hello. Yeah, so this is exciting. Just as a general announcement, my Apocalypse World News show is now going to be on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. So come hang out then. Hopefully, more of you guys will be able to make it. It's going to be easier for me. I'm going to be working all three jobs again soon. So, going to need those times, that time during the week to get my hours in. Um,
It
so what?
does look like it's dropping again.
Oh, I know. I know. I can see it grabbing. It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to get it together. One of these days, I'm going to figure out what is going on with my stream
Maybe
settings.
you're trying to go live to too many platforms at once.
I got rid of Twitch, right? We're on Rumble. What up, Rumble fam? Good to see you. We're on Rokfin. We are on Foxhole, DLive, and YouTube.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your situation is over there, but hopefully people can hear us as long as the audio is okay. So the audio sounds all right, guys?
Yeah, are we 5 by 5 as far as audio goes, guys? Let us know. Let us know. Uh,
I,
Dennis Lindsay says, I'm a bit off today, but ACCBD for the first five answers. Right on top of it. Right on
that
top
sounds
of it,
like a
sir.
that sounds like a Sega Genesis cheat code, except
Right?
there's no D.
No, it's like, what was that movie with Meth and Redman? Like Abacadabra, all the way down for standardized testing. That was the answer. That's what I'm thinking of. Right? Uh, well, they're saying they can hear us. Fantastic. Fantastic. I don't know.
Good.
Let's get this party started, sir. You want to
Let's
start?
talk about the let's talk about that movie Downsized first.
Oh my gosh. That was
So
such a
guys,
good movie.
there's a Matt Damon movie out there called, is it just called Downsized? Is that what?
Downsized. Right?
Right. And I don't know why I was compelled to watch this. And it's about them trying to fix the world's population. We're overpopulated, so
Of
they need to
course.
figure out a plan without like reducing the population. So the plan they come up with is to shrink people down to 5 inches tall and put them in little bubble cities.
Uh,
And let me
Now they
tell
were
you, this
luxurious little bubble cities, to be fair.
right, it was fucked up. I mean, the process they show, the amount of detail, I mean, it was pretty elaborate. This wasn't like supposed to necessarily be a comedy. It actually wasn't, but as serious as they took it, like I was like, what am I watching here? They're literally shrinking people down to 5 inches tall, and that was their way to solve the world's population problem. I thought it was hilarious.
It was actually a cute movie. Like it was a cute movie at the end. And in the end, not only did they need to shrink themselves, right? But then they wanted to a contingent of, you know, Earth cult members wanted to barricade themselves inside of a mountain for thousands of years just in case, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. You
I
know,
mean, when they showed the process of how they shrink the person, like that was what I was surprised with. I mean, it was pretty wild stuff.
right? They anal probed him.
Yeah, they shaved them, anal probe them, they freaking do something to their teeth. They take their teeth out or something.
Right?
And then they put them in that room and turn the dial, and then they come back, they're like full size, then they're this big laying, and
On them, right?
they use little spatulas to pick them up and put them into the little hospital beds. And They bring him
Uh,
saltine crackers that are bigger than him.
that movie was great. That movie was great. It was cute. It was called Downsized or Downsized,
Yeah,
right? Up
downsized.
three. It
Yeah.
was called Downsized. What up, Joan of Sark? Good to see you. Sherry Pittsburgh. Hey. Yeah, that movie was funny. Tyler will randomly send me things that I have to watch, and he's like, "You have to watch it right now. Like not later, not tomorrow. Like right now. You must turn it on."
I was watching it. I was laughing because I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Like
I'm
somebody
like,
else
this is
has to see this.
right. I'm like, this is
Hmm.
hilarious. It's funny.
It was good.
Um,
It was good.
yeah, it was. You never know. You don't realize how many problems a little person can have.
Man, right? The giant rows, everything. But their money went a lot farther, right?
Yeah, that was the incentive to shrink yourself. Your $150,000 would somehow equate to being like $250 million or something crazy. You never had to work a day in your life again if you shrunk yourself, and that was the incentive to get people to shrink themselves.
Jenny Girl
So
says, "Wouldn't it be cheaper to spay and neuter?" Well, I think that's what they're doing to us now.
yeah,
Maybe,
exactly. Amen to that.
right?
They are
I think that's what they're doing right now, right?
hundo for shundo.
Right? Crazy stuff. Well, I mean, we should have had a question about that movie, but we got a lot of good questions for you guys tonight. Um, Figured we would start off. Thanks, Etienne, for the sub. Good to see you. Figured we would start off with some coming in strong with some good UFO related questions because you can't have a conspiracy theory show without UFO related questions. So I got one for you, Tyler the Decider.
Hmm.
Known as the Roswell before Roswell, in 1945, an avocado shaped ship struck a communications tower in what location? Was it A, Corona, New Mexico, B, the Trinity site in New Mexico, C, Mount Rainier, or D, in Fargo, North Dakota? And this case is important, and I'm going to tell you guys why in a minute.
I don't know the Roswell before
The
Roswell.
Roswell before Roswell. It's an avocado shaped ship, dude.
I know I think I've heard about this before, but I can't remember all these details over time. I'm like, shit, they all bleed together. I'm gonna go with what was the first one? Corona,
There's
New
Corona, New
Mexico.
Mexico, the Trinity site in New Mexico, Mount Rainier, or Fargo, North Dakota.
I'm gonna go with Robert Earl White. D.
He says, is that what he says? He says D. Is that your final answer?
Sure. I don't know.
Final answer? Let's see. Holy guacamole. I know, right, cats? Well, you guys are all over the board with this.
Oh, that's just a guess, Robert. Don't let me down like that.
Oh, buddy, right? Because the answer is actually B, the Trinity site in New Mexico. And this is crazy because Nick Pope and Tucker Carlson were just talking about this case the other day because there was an amendment that was tucked into this year's 858 billion National Defense Authorization Act, and this is what funds the Defense Department's annual operating budget. And they put some clauses in there related to unidentified aerial phenomena, right? That are now, before they were trying to get them to go back and investigate older cases. Well, now they have insisted that the government go back to cases dating from 1945 because of this case. And this is crazy. Jacques Vallée had talked about this. He was one of the biggest, whistleblowers on the Trinity case. So Nick Pope goes on Tucker Carlson and says this is, we want them to address this case. This is one of the many UFO provisions in the new defense bill. Um, any incident from January 1st of 1945 onward, they have to compile and list in their reports. And they're also offering kind of an amnesty. Like, I don't know, a lot of you guys have been on the hashtag UFO amnesty. They're offering kind of an amnesty to these people. They're saying that anybody involved in these programs or that has information about these programs will be released from their secrecy oaths and their non disclosure agreements so that they're able to testify to Congress about this. Now, about this case specifically. So, Jacques Vallée interviewed the family of Lieutenant Colonel William Brothy, who said that he revealed in the years after the incident that he actually went out to survey the crash site in August of 1945. So Valet and this Italian UFO journalist, Paola Harris, released a book in 2021 called Trinity: The Best Kept Secret, covering this entire incident. So this ship, shaped like an avocado, comes in, smashes into a communications tower, goes down. Well, there were witnesses. Some kids saw this and said that they saw some smaller beings that had arms. They were about 4 foot tall. They were kind of a grayish color, but they had arms like mantises. So they were kind of mantid beings that came out, and you could. He said the kids said that they could tell that these things were scared, right? And even as adults, these kids have stuck to this story. They claimed that they had taken a piece of the shuttle, and hidden it. At some of it they claimed was lost because I mean this is years after the fact that they finally came forward and talked about this. Um, but it's crazy. So this was one of the, and this was right because the Trinity site. This is where the first atomic bomb testing took place, and this
Hmm.
happened right as this was happening. So it's insinuating that there is some sort of a connection between UFO appearances and our nuclear bomb tests,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, and there's probably, I wonder if there's like electromagnetic interference because, if they're using anti-gravitic technology that works with the electrons in the air, whenever there's a nuclear blast, it scrambles everything and
You
it might like, it might do something to the navigation systems within the craft itself. So I wonder if that's
I
why
mean, that's
we see.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Why it would crash? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, or it was shut down or whatever. There's a million different things, but uh interesting. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
I
I
guess the
do
ship
have,
was there for a minute before the military even came out there to try and scavenge the site. That it sat there and like multiple people saw it. And I mean, these are the kids that saw it. I mean, one of them grew up to be a highway patrolman. Like they weren't, you know, crazy people. I mean, they ended up having reasonable
right.
jobs, being respectable citizens or whatever, and they have stuck to their story this entire time.
You know what's interesting is Aaron and I decided to go to the local MUFON meeting the other night.
Oh, you went? Didn't you go recently too? So you went again?
Well, it wasn't as recent as you think. It was actually a while back, but we went the other night because they had a guy who was going over all of the sightings from the top sightings from 2022 into 2023 in Missouri and Kansas City area, and there were like hundreds,
Right.
over 200 and something like credible sightings. Most of them were Starlink, and
Of course.
there was actually only five unknowns, five complete unknown objects, right? And some of them were some of the footage is wild. Like I was so amazed. I'm like, I can't believe like this is being reported here in Missouri, and it was pretty cool. It just interesting to see what MUFON's up to. They still don't get past the nuts and bolts of everything. They're still very focused on like, is the photo authentic? Is
Right.
the footage authentic? Is this a credible witness? It's very scientific, and they don't take it past that, but they're still doing some important work. So it was interesting. It was a good experiment to go and see what
Yeah,
they're
I,
up to.
I like the nuts and bolts stuff. I think you got to start somewhere, and if we can
Yeah,
at least get to the point that these things are happening, that this is not some crazy fantasy of like drunken homeless people. Like if we can just get past that point in
right,
general, like that's a
right.
huge step. You know.
Well, and it's interesting. These people are working tirelessly to validate these claims, to make sure that this is a legitimate case or not. And out of 200 and something, only five of them ended up being something that they couldn't explain. So that tells you, not
Right.
everything you see in the sky is actually a UFO, which is a good reminder because people, their emotions take over and they get excited and
Right.
they see something because they want to see something.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
but I did find out. So, MUFON was created in Missouri. That's one. I don't know if you knew that. It used to be Missouri UFO
Oh,
Network,
I did not know that.
and then it was changed to Mutual when they expanded. But I also found out that Missouri now is the only state, the only place in the world actually that has an international lab where all like wreckage, any evidence, samples,
Ooh.
anything is sent to Missouri here in St. Louis, actually locally. and they're actually trying to raise money for the lab to get new equipment to analyze the evidence, the data and stuff.
Oh, I'd love
So
to work
that's
there.
interesting.
Yeah,
Right. It's really interesting that there's so much. And Missouri had the most sightings in the United States this past year too. So
that's
anyway,
crazy.
let's get back to the trivia.
Bring it, sir.
Okay. By the way, all of my questions tonight start with according to.
Wow, that's only fair, right?
Um, According to British whistleblower Max Spears, the Holy Grail was not a physical sacred object, but a symbolic object representing what? A. A Babylonian winery. B. The tears of the disappointed gods. C. A royal bloodline. D. Holy water. According to whistleblower Max Spears, the Holy Grail was not a physical sacred object, but a symbolic object representing what? A Babylonian winery, the tears of the disappointed gods, a royal bloodline, or holy water.
I like Tears of the Disappointed Gods, but I'm going with Bloodline,
We'll wait for some questions to roll in.
right? What up, Vetmore? Good to see you. Good to see you. I know, Yuvonda. We learning something new every day here. That's the
Right.
goal, right?
According to ancient astronaut theorists, yeah.
Right. According to conspiracy theorists.
So everybody's guessing. Well, not everybody. There's a B, maybe B. Matthew said I want it to be.
I know, Matthew. Right?
All right, I have a question for Matthew. Where is the multi-dimensional trailer park located, and in what dimension is it currently residing?
I need to know where the multi-dimensional trailer park is located. Okay, this is important
And what
information.
and what dimension does it currently reside?
Right?
Uh, anyway, the answer is C, royal bloodline.
Woohoo!
So apparently, Holy Grail in French is Saint Graal, however you say that,
Mm-hmm.
which actually translates to royal blood.
Yep.
And according to Max, this is the bloodline of King Charlemagne, who's actually of a reptilian descent. And all the royal families, the presidents, that's the bloodline that they've been trying to keep in power for all these years. And in particular, because he said a strand of that DNA of that bloodline, for some reason, has allows for heightened psychic abilities, and it allows them to achieve like black magic, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, easier. So it's not just like because it's an ET bloodline, but that actual bloodline has something within it that allows them to easily tap into their abilities.
Well, this was addressed obviously kind of fictitiously, but also based on conspiracy theory in the Da Vinci Code, where this was supposedly the bloodline of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Okay, and what is the family name? It starts with an M. French ruling family name. Some frightening me. Do you know? Somebody in the chat starts with an M. It's supposed to be Jesus's bloodline. Um, oh, for the life of me, and now I'm not going to be able to remember that. Anybody in the chat?
I'm not
The
sure if I know what that is or not.
It starts with an M, and this is the bloodline that you're talking about. Right? I know we're delayed, so like them coming with answers in the chat is probably going to be a second. Um, Damn, if I could click on things, guys, I would Google it and find it in a second.
Here, let me look. What
The
am I looking up?
It's French royal bloodline starts with an M, like M like Mary. Merovingian. No, yes, thank you, frightening me.
Is that
And
it?
Unimation. Yeah, the Merovingian bloodline. Yes.
Okay, yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, they used that in the Matrix too, didn't they? They had the Merovingian as a character.
Well, I
So
guess I never even connected those dots.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, all ties together, sir. All ties together. Yes, thank you. I was right on the tip of my tongue, and for the life of me, I couldn't get it out. But yeah, that's crazy, right? So Max Spears talks about that too, huh?
Yeah, he goes a lot more into detail than I did. And I don't, I could have, I guess, you come with like all this research backing your questions. And I'm just like here nonchalantly sharing shit that I remember.
No, it's
Uh,
good. It's good, right? It's good. My stuff is always crazy shit I read in the news. Like 9 times out of 10, that's where my questions come from me working all day checking facts, right? Frightening Me says Charlemagne was a Carolingian, right?
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I don't know where that he gets that information, but regardless, it's interesting to think of the Holy Grail representing a royal
Yeah,
bloodline.
well, even the depictions, they say like a womb, like
Yeah.
the cup, like a womb, you know, which is crazy. All right, all right, so for more crazy shit I read in the news, okay? What company updated its terms of service to cover the zombie apocalypse?
It's
What
got to
co
be like State Farm or something.
what company? Remember when we had the Geico alien
Yes.
abduction insurance, right? That's a
Yeah.
thing, guys. By the
That
way, we haven't talked about that in a while. Okay,
real. It's actually a
like
thing.
a
Yeah.
real thing, yeah, right? If you get
If you have,
impregnated, if you get impregnated by an alien,
but they only cover your abduction if you have
if
evidence
you can
of it.
prove it,
If
right?
you can prove it. Yeah.
Right. Crazy shit. So what company updated their terms of service to cover the zombie apocalypse? Is it A, Walmart, B, Amazon, C, T-Mobile, or D, Intel?
I have no idea.
And yes, Alexis, it's a French bloodline.
Can you
French
say that,
royals.
the choices again?
Yes. So what company updated its terms of service to cover the zombie apocalypse? A, Walmart, B, Amazon, C, T-Mobile, or D, Intel?
I'm just gonna go with Amazon.
Final answer.
I guess. I don't know. I want to say Intel. I have no idea. I'm just trying to guess.
All right. Well, it looks like you've got some concurrence in the chat, Tyler. Uh, see, Yuvonda thinks Walmart, maybe, right? So the answer is, dun, 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 yes, it is Amazon, right? Can you imagine? So, and this is funny because I mean it's in their terms. So if the world ever ends, apparently via a virus that causes human corpses to reanimate, a zombie apocalypse by any other name, then Amazon has got your back. Okay, so sort of. So Amazon Web Services has updated their terms of service with a special clause that kicks in the event that there are corpses consuming human flesh and the fall of civilization. So this comes with and this was in like 2017, I think 2016, 2017. They had released a new lumberyard materials set of development tools that developers use to create games that run on their AWS servers. So the terms state that this lumberyard toolset is not to be used with drones, medical equipment, nuclear facilities, manned spacecraft, or live military combat in normal times. But in the event of a zombie apocalypse, then you can feel free to use their lumberyard developers tools, you know, at your leisure. So it's clause 57.10 of the AWS terms of service, and it states the restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body. Civilization collapse, they might have a successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, or nervous tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. That is what their terms read, right?
They only change the terms if it's actually a planned somewhere that's gonna happen.
I don't know, guys, but
It's
they
an
did it.
agenda.
They did it, right? I mean, I don't
Right.
know how exactly a game engine is gonna help with that, but they wrote it in there just in case, right?
Right.
Just
It's
in
like
case.
California jacking up rates for fire insurance and then,
Ah,
and then attacking the land with direct energy weapons.
yeah, imagine that, right?
Right.
Imagine that. Hey, Wonder Mod, good to see you. Yes, thank you for posting my links. Guys, if you like the content and want to contribute, you already know the deal. My Cash App and my Buy Me a Coffee are in the description below. If you're on Rumble and you want to throw a Rumble rant, please feel free. Super chats on YouTube, gold pills on Foxhole. It is all appreciated. And if you can't do that, guys, just give me a like and a share. Like, I'm cool with that. Cool with that.
Oh yeah. Come to our conference.
Come to Tyler's conference. That's another way you can absolutely support the show,
Yeah.
right?
Um,
You got to
all right.
send me a new promo video so I can show it,
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that.
assuming I don't glitch out. I'll
Yeah,
happily show your promo videos.
it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody again. That's my favorite
Oh, I
part.
know. I want to come so bad.
Well, we'll see. It's
So
not out of
bad.
the cards yet. All right,
Right.
here we go. According to author Len Kasten, what was Germany's primary reason for establishing colonies in Antarctica after World War II? A, to build a space fleet. B, to join forces with the reptilians. C, to access a rumored Stargate. Or D, to preserve the Aryan race.
All of the above?
But there's one primary reason.
So there's one answer that's better than the other answers.
Yes.
Ah,
According to
ah.
author Len Kasten, what was Germany's primary reason for establishing colonies in Antarctica post World War II? To build a space fleet, to join forces with the reptilians, to access a rumored Stargate, or to preserve the Aryan race?
I'm going with lizards. You know my theory. It's always lizards. The answers are it's always the lizard people, man. It's my personal belief in life. That's the answer to every question. It's lizard people. So we're gonna go with that.
Right.
Even though Robert Earl White says D, that's got to be
Well,
technically right.
Robert Earl White would be right.
Oh, look, it's not It's got to be lizards.
Right. So New Schwabenland, first of all, New Schwabenland was named after the research vessel, the ship that they uh, traveled there on. That's why it was named after the research vessel. But so a breeding program was developed where 10,000 of the most racially pure women between 17 and 24 were taken there via submarine through the underground tunnel network, along with 2,500 Waffen SS soldiers to preserve the Aryan race. 4 women to each man, the colony was preserved for the purest specimen of the Aryan race.
They took all
And that,
their pure people to Antarctica. That's gotta
yes.
suck.
So this was actually, and then the Aryans are like the Hyperborean bloodline, like the inner Earth. Like if you'd follow that whole, like apparently the Germans and Hitler and Karl Haushofer, they were very much in familiar with inner Earth, and
Well,
they
even the
obviously,
Buddhists thought. I mean, a
yeah,
lot of the Aryan stuff what not Shangri-La? Is it Shangri-La? Is
yeah, that's
that
yeah.
right? Yes, ties into
Shangri-La,
all that.
Shambhala, like there's a
Shambhala.
bunch of
Yeah.
different names for it, but um, yeah, either way, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know how accurate that information is, but it wouldn't surprise me. And apparently, Hitler and the Nazis were, I don't know if it is so much Hitler, but the Nazis were behind the origins of Playboy as well. And that's why the blonde haired, blue eyed girls were put on the cover of that magazine. It was like part of like showing off that their bloodline was the best
It
and the
would
most
not
beautiful.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that they did was for the purity of the German race, the Aryan race.
But can you imagine that? Like being sent down there and, setting up shop, literally building out colonies just to breed and the Aryan race and preserve the Aryan race.
In like the most inhospitable conditions
Yeah.
on the
And
planet,
then 4 women per man. Like, I just wonder what that looked like.
right? They're breed mules, whatever, breed horses.
Right.
But yeah, I'm still convinced the lizards had something to do with it. Seems
Well,
like Melody agrees with me, right?
definitely. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's how they even knew about. That's how they knew where to go in the first place. I think.
Matthew says Len Caston had so much info. I hope he's still out there,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, Corey probably sued him since he had a book named Dark Fleet.
right?
So,
Copyright,
right.
copyright.
That's funny. Um,
Ah,
all right, your turn.
I got a good one for you. All right, I promised you we'd have some crazy food questions today. So, a special doomsday vault was built to protect what food item? A special doomsday vault was built to protect what food item? Was it
Twinkie.
was it A, Twinkies, B, Cheez-Its, C, Oreos, or D, Doritos?
I totally made that up. By the way, I didn't even know Twinkie was on the list, so I have to go with Twinkie
You
now.
have to go with Twinkie, right? What do you guys think? Special Doomsday Vault. And mind you, I'll tell you now, this is by the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Like it's a legit bunker built to house just this food item? So is it A, Twinkies, B, Cheez-Its, C, Oreos, or D, Doritos?
We have a little bit of everything here.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Well,
Cheez-Its, Twinkies,
we have
right?
AB Oreos,
Yuvonda says Oreos. What do you guys think? So the answer, dun dun dun,
Flamin'
dun
Hot Cheetos.
naturally, um, it's actually Oreos. It's Oreo, right? You would think Twinkies, but they don't need a bunker. Those freaking things, like as we saw in what was it, Zombieland, they will just survive. Okay, Twinkies are going to be fine. They need no special protection. Oreos, however, apparently were in need of their own bunker. So you guys know in 2008 we built the Svalbard Global Seed Vault that is like our last hope in the event of an actual apocalypse, right? It's built into the side of a mountain. It's got more than 1 million seed samples from all over the earth. But I mean, that doesn't really cover cookies. So Oreo thought it through, and in 2020, these fools went and right down the road from there built an actual Oreo doomsday bunker. And if you look, it looks just like the Svalbard vault, but it says Oreo on there. And you go in and they've got stacks of Oreos in this special like packaging. They've got what is that, Mylar? They're in the little foil emergency blanket container things, and they're all stacked up on the walls. They say that while announcing its global Oreo vault, the brand called it really real, although it's smaller than the seed vault. They said that the facility has the Oreo recipe and a large stockpile of cookies. And in case you're curious as to where this is at, they give coordinates, and I can go ahead and I'll humor you guys, and I'll put them so you can Google Earth it or whatever if you're interested. I'll put it in the chat. That is the location of the Oreo Apocalypse Vault. And if you're watching on Rumble or DLive or something, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get it from YouTube or Foxhole because I can't
So,
I can't get it everywhere. But
so did you know that there's actually a whole conspiracy theory about what's stamped on the Oreos?
yes, didn't we talked about it here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's like the Knights Templar cross is on there, but there's a lot of like Masonic symbolism. And like when you dip it in the milk, like a different pattern shows up. So it makes sense why they chose Oreos.
Yeah,
Like
well, they
there's
said that
like,
the original designer was some sort of a Mason, right?
yeah,
So of
right.
course they want to protect that. Of course they
Yeah.
do. You know, uh, apparently this
And oh yeah,
vault.
and the number of the hashes around the edge is like something to do with it also.
Yeah, it's
It's
probably
all
33. I'm sure
everything.
it's probably
Yeah, everything
33
has.
hash marks around the Oreo edge, right? Who's Amelia says stale Oreos do suck. Well, don't worry, they got you. I mean, apparently this thing they can survive in temperatures from -80 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's impervious to chemical reactions, moisture, air. They've like I said, they've got them wrapped in Mylar packaging.
You don't
Uh,
even you could
so we're good.
preserve McDonald's food last like that, and you don't even have
Oh, you
to
don't got to do nothing. No,
store
just
it.
just
Yeah,
leave it sit
just
there.
leave
What
it
up,
sit
woke
out.
one?
Yeah.
What up, bruh? Yeah,
All
just
right.
Oreos, always thinking ahead.
All right. All right. Where am I? Where are we?
Where are we? I don't know where we are. We are not in the
Okay, here's a fun
trans-dimensional
one.
trailer park, though. I'll tell you that.
No. Um, okay, according to mind control research coming from the Tavistock Institute,
Ooh,
what two colors are used in combination to create the illusion of an alternate reality? So, according to the Tavistock Institute, what two colors are used in combination to create the illusion of an alternate reality? A, red and blue, B, orange and yellow, C, red and green, D, green and orange.
I'm going with A just because I don't know why. Red and blue was what I immediately thought of. It's probably wrong, but that's gonna be my guess. It's gonna be my guess, guys.
What two colors are used in combination to create the illusion of an alternate reality? Red and blue, orange and yellow, red and green, green and orange.
Up three says orange and yellow.
Robert says black and white. Obviously, that's wrong. uh, I mean, that's Illuminati colors, I guess. Um, so the
Well, that would
answer
make sense.
is drum roll, red and blue.
Ha!
So, red and blue create an alternate reality. In these situations, police, politics, news, and so on, it is to shock the mind into subservience. Remember the old 3D
That's
glasses
what I
where
was
one,
gonna say. That's why I
yeah,
guessed it. Okay.
remember the old 3D glasses where one eye was red and the other was blue, and that caused to the brain to see an overlay. And that's exactly what those colors do. They overlay a false reality, which is red and blue with the politics is definitely an illusion. It's a
Right.
false reality. So red and blue represent the two sides of the brain split through MK Ultra. Tavistock's shock waves initiate this dissociation on a mass level through fear programming to engage the savior complex. Mass populations are disempowered and made controllable as they wait rather than take any meaningful action. Our own eyes and ears have been weaponized against us. This is the greatest power of mind control to ensure any opposing information is thrown out without consideration. Mass dissociation by programming.
Well, I'll tell you, I
So,
see red and blue lights behind me, and there's definitely an alternate reality that pops up in my mind. That is for sure.
yeah, it's interesting though the colors that are chose. There's been studies done on this stuff. So it's I didn't know that. It makes sense because the red and blue, like who chose blue for Democrats and red? Like this is all part of a massive mind
Well,
control.
colors are often
Yeah,
used in branding for the specific
yeah,
psychological and emotional responses that like McDonald's very specifically red and yellow,
yes,
because it elicits figured feelings of happiness and hunger, you know. Uh and there's been a number of studies done that go through the colors that are chose for different brands and why they chose those colors. Like so that does not that does not surprise me at all. But red and blue, that's what I thought of immediately when you asked the question was the old 3D glasses and I thought it's got to be red and blue,
yeah. I mean that's literal evidence of it. The two colors. Why those two colors
right?
creates an overlay.
That's crazy. What up, Jay Brewski? It's good to see you. Hey, Thumper Rose. Hey, Incorruptible Guardian. Glad you're here. Aurora, hello, Big World. Glad you guys made it tonight. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. Crazy stuff, man. I learn something new every day on this show for sure. Well, since I was talking about food, I'm going to continue along the same line for a second because this really weirded me out. More crazy shit that I read in the news. Um, Scientists recently made artificial vanilla flavoring out of what strange material? Was it A, human liver cells, B, anal gland extract from beavers, C, plastic, or D, coal?
B.
You know I like to bring up the beaver anal juice every once in a while, the castoreum, right? So,
Right.
so
The booty
the
juice.
booty juice.
Bring it on.
Ah, so scientists recently made an artificial vanilla flavoring out of what strange material? Was it A, human liver cells, B, anal gland extract from beavers, C, plastic, or D, coal?
Beaver butt.
Beaver butt, right? We love talking about beaver butts over here. If one of my mods, what up, Starstream? Good to see ya. If one of my mods could check and say hi to the Rumble peeps for me, that'd be great. See if there's anybody over there. I don't know. I can't see it. I see a lot of people are going with B for the beaver butts, man. Dennis Lindsay says, please no beaver. You know, we talk about the castoreum and its uses in artificial flavoring all the time. Unfortunately, in this instance, I think it may even be worse. So the answer is plastic, right? Now, you know, these globalist types are going to find
Yeah.
a way to make us eat plastic and bugs and fake meat and live in the pods, okay? We talk about this all the time. This is
Right.
what's happening, right? So they made it out of plastic. So plastic bottles specifically were converted into vanilla flavoring using genetically engineered bacteria. And this is the first time that a valuable chemical of sorts has been brewed from plastic waste. This is all part of their upcycling shenanigans, right? So they think upcycling plastic bottles into more lucrative materials, I mean, obviously it'll make recycling more attractive and effective. Currently plastics lose about 95% of their value as a material after a single use. So they're looking at it like if they encourage better collection and use of the plastic waste, this would help with our global plastic pollution problem. So what they did was they developed these mutant enzymes to break down the polyethylene terephthalate polymer that is used for drink bottles into its basic units, a terephthalic acid. They've used these bugs to convert this terephthalic acid into vanillin, right? The research, which was published in the journal Green Chemistry, used an engineered E. coli bacteria to transform this terpentine acid into vanillin. The scientists, they warmed this like microbial broth to 37 degrees Celsius for a day, same conditions as brewing beer, right? And it converted 79% of this terphthalic acid into vanillin. So next, what these scientists are going to do is they're going to further tweak the bacteria to increase the conversion rate further. They think they can do that pretty quickly. They've roboticized. They have an amazing roboticized DNA assembly facility that they're using. Of course, they got to put the robots in with making us eat the
Right.
plastic. I mean, it only makes sense,
It's
right? We're
part of
seeing
the
a
full takeover.
convergence. Yeah,
And they got little people packaging it.
yes, of course. Yeah, they'll be the little downsized people that'll be
Yeah,
packaging stuff. Um,
right.
you know, obviously they're just starting with vanilla. They think that other valuable molecules could be brewed from this stuff, like used in perfumes or
But
any
the,
number of
the
things.
aside from everything you just told us, like it's completely unnecessary. Like
Bro,
all of those steps, the lengths they go to create this artificial food is completely unnecessary. Like the planet is abundant, really, with food, everything we need. It's hilarious that this is the direction we're going. Like we know that plastics are used in cheese, like grains of rice. There's
right.
I've seen those videos, and like even foam. Foam is the one, styrofoam, like a type of foam I've seen is used in like some not ramen brand, but that type of ramen noodles. Like it's actually an almost all foam. Like it's not, it's so artificial. And people are eating this shit. And that's why it's bad to eat that because it expands in your stomach and doesn't your
I
body
saw a
doesn't get.
meme the other day, and it was like, you know, my grandfather full of lead, my father full of what was it? It's like me full of microplastics. Like every generation has their
Right.
own thing that they're going
Right.
to be battling. I mean, they found microplastics in our lungs, in our bloodstream. Now they want us to actually eat the plastic. Like,
Well, there's no doubt we've all eaten plastic on
right.
some, well, on some form. There's no doubt we've all eaten everything, I'm sure. There's things we don't even understand we've eaten. But
I'm all
that's
for trying to save the earth, man. I've said it before. The earth is great. I live here. We should do something,
right.
but these people take it to a whole another other level. Like,
Yeah, they
if
do.
they can break down the plastic and use it to make other products, it's not what we eat though.
Right.
Just,
I remember an old Jerry Seinfeld skit. He said the worst part about being blind would be not being able to see if there's bugs in your food. Well,
bro,
now you don't even have to be blind
just
to
there
see
are
it.
bugs in
Like
your
they're
food,
there. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Uh,
Oh, what a mess.
all
What a
right.
me- what a mess.
What do I have next for you guys? Oh, another question. Okay.
Well, I hope it's
Oh,
another question.
obviously. Well, I was gonna describe it, but I was like, no, that would give it away. Okay. What 1980s toy was released as a social experiment for the MK Ultra programs?
Ooh.
A. Simon. B. Cabbage Patch Kids. C. Light Bright. D. The Rubik's Cube.
I wanted to say Rubik's Cube immediately, and I don't know why. It's probably Simon. I'm going to go with Rubik's Cube. I don't think it's Cabbage Patch Kids. I think you put that in there because I was sending you TikToks about Cabbage Patch Kids.
The pod people. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. That's actually an
Bro,
episode I want to cover on Journey to Truth. I'd love to do an episode on that.
man, if you could get one Foul Wow to come on and talk about it, that would be awesome.
It would be a good episode. And I don't even know who you're talking about,
The
but
guy that I'm always sending you his TikToks, the black British guy,
oh,
he's
that
like,
yeah, him.
oh my
Yeah,
days, I've
right.
got your ass.
So
That's my dude.
what 1980s toy was released as a social experiment for the MK Ultra programs? A. Simon. B. Cabbage Patch Kids. C. Light Bright. D. Rubik's Cube.
I'm
The
going with
answer
Rubik's Cube.
is Rubik's Cube. B.
Yay!
Even though Simon might have been for the same reason. Like it's another color
Color
game.
code, right? Yeah.
Yeah. From 1980 to 1983, 200 million Rubik's Cubes were sold, the most popular toys for children each Christmas, linked to MK Ultra programs. Everyone had a Rubik's Cube as they were used for color programming, the same colors as Microsoft Windows linking the human mind to computers and the Olympic rings. Cisco Wheeler writes, red and green were discovered to be the most visible colors for programming. Flashing lights were used. In bars, you will notice multicolored flashing lights. Flashing lights create dissociation, especially in people who are programmed. First, yeah, and then there's some Barnett described first trauma produces 5 core splits, which are classified into 5 independent doors: red, green, blue, yellow, white. It just goes on to explain some mind control. Oh, interesting. Um, these were organized into a pentagram with a gatekeeper in the middle. Colors were overlaid with Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland to use to program children. Um, Either way, red and green. Okay, I think right away it's stoplights, like red and
Right.
green. This is another color pattern that so I've been into MK Ultra stuff lately because I want to know like how am I subconsciously being controlled? Because that show what's that show, The Inside Job on Netflix? They're
Right.
always
Yeah,
like
that's a
the
good.
cartoon.
I like that.
Well, it's interesting. Every time they show a bar scene, they're drinking Mick Ultra, except instead of MC Ultra, it's MK Ultra. And I'm like, okay, they're telling you to like Mick Ultra beer, like that's like right in your face. Like whatever's in that beer is, in my mind control substance.
I mean, alcohol in general could be used as a mind
Right.
control substance, right? But yeah, a lot of color coding. Just like you were just talking about with the red and the blue
Oh,
for
it
the.
said buffering really bad, buffering frozen, buffering, but we're back now, I guess.
Oh no.
I
Oh, I
guess they
can
didn't want
see it.
me, I guess they didn't want me talking about that.
Are we good now? Are we 5 by 5? Can I get confirmation from the mods? Right? Because
I
it was
wonder if
doing
they,
good for a minute. We weren't freezing up or anything. I don't know
yeah.
what is going on with that. I can see it
Well,
where
we'll
it was
see.
frozen.
It seems
Sorry,
like we're
guys.
moving. Seems like we're moving again now. Well, hopefully they heard everything I said.
Normally the audio's fine. It's just the video that glitches out. Morning Flower says 5 by 5. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure this shit out at some point before Sunday, hopefully, when I have to come back on here with Severe. Um,
So red and green. So they introduced Rubik's cubes to the public to see which, I guess, which colors would affect. I don't know how they would even observe that, but still observe that.
I don't know. When there's a pattern to solving those. You get 4 blocks of one color in the bottom left-hand corner, and then it's over, side, over, side, over, side, over, side, and eventually it'll just turn into the right matchup. For any of you guys that didn't know that, there's a
Yeah.
pattern to that to solving, and that's all you got to do. I saw somebody saying they used to take the stickers off. I feel you, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You almost go into a trance with it.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Aurora says we heard it. Okay, cool.
Um,
But I wouldn't be surprised, all those toys. I was looking at the popular toys in the 80s. I'm like, all of these could have been used for that reason, actually.
there have
Um,
probably been so
yeah,
many things released as toys just to. Can you imagine the programming in video games and
right.
some of the
Well,
video games right now?
social engineering. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's got to be. It's
100.
absolutely got to be.
Yeah, video games that's an entirely different topic in itself, but still, there's for one, I think that video games are also like movies as far as disclosure goes. Sometimes I even think video games are even more accurate depending on the game, but we can talk about that another time.
Bro, we listen. Let me. I've gotten hooked on Elden Ring. Okay. I know I'm like 10 months behind everybody else, but I'm like hooked on Elden Ring. And sometimes after I play for so long, I go outside, and the outside world almost looks like the game to me.
Yeah,
It's
they
weird.
got to you.
I don't know how else to explain it. It's weird. It's
They
like a
got to you.
it's a weird thing. I realized that I probably shouldn't be sitting there for extended periods playing that game. Like, so I've been trying to not do that. I play for like an hour or two a day. That's it.
Super
Um,
Stretch Man or Stretch Armstrong? Is that what she's thinking of, Heidi?
the red
And
guy with the really stretchy arms,
I remember Stretch Armstrong, but Super Stretch Man probably sounds like an earlier version.
right?
All right, what do you got? What's
All
next?
right. What book do some mathematicians claim is written in code that predicts future events? All
Ooh,
right. What book do some mathematicians claim is written in code that predicts future events? Is it A, the Quran, B, the Torah, C, the Mahabharata, or D, the Book of Enoch?
the Quran.
Final answer?
Sure.
Okay.
Any
Let's
one
see.
of them could be true. I don't actually know. I
Man,
mean, I heard that like Shakespeare's works, his writings were apparently, well, apparently it wasn't even Shakespeare, but that's
there is an
debatable.
argument over whether Shakespeare
Yeah,
actually even existed.
right. But apparently within his writings are codes, or apparently there's a treasure map to Oak Island. There's like all this
Bro,
stuff in code.
we gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
We gotta figure that out. Let's see. Etienne says the Torah. Trying to Enoch. I'm seeing. So the answer is actually the Torah, right? The Bible. Mary Maya says yes. So the earliest books of the Bible. It's crazy. So mathematicians have claimed to see like a predictive pattern in the ancient Torah text. The code was revealed by a method that they found with a special computer software. And some events that were described after they translated this code actually did happen. So the Bible Code was a 1997 book written by Michael Drosnin, and he kind of popularized this idea. His book claimed to use the earliest part of the Bible to predict the assassination of Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, the Gulf War, some comet collisions. It seemed to have some information about the Holocaust, assassinations like JFK and his brother Robert. It also suggested that a nuclear war was looming. Okay, and these were all things they explained in this book, the Bible Code. But the inspiration for that book came from a 1994 paper, um, mathematics paper published in the journal Statistical Science by respected mathematicians. It was called Equidistant Letter Sequences in the Book of Genesis. They presented statistical evidence that information about the lives of famous rabbis was encoded in the Hebrew text of the book of Genesis hundreds of years before these rabbis ever lived. They proved this with, a level of statistical certainty that would make it hard to argue with. So the method that they used, this equidistant letter sequence. So to get a word with some meaning, what you do is, I mean, this method calls you to like pick a starting point in a text, and then you skip a certain number, and then start selecting letters while skipping the same number of spaces every time in any direction. And then it'll spell out words if there's a code there, right? So like you start on a word, you say you're going to go every
Right.
6 letters, you go in either direction, you circle that letter, and then that's your piece of the puzzle. And then
Right.
they found that this held true specifically in the book of Genesis, but in numerous of these Torah texts,
And they
right?
also and they also predicted the gas stove ban
They
too.
they absolutely did. I mean, who didn't see that coming,
It was
right?
in the Bible.
It was in there. It was absolutely in there. Um, and there were some other works. A guy named Timothy Smith wrote a book in 2017 called The Chamberlain Key. He had done 25 years of research, claimed to unlock a God code in the Bible. Um, a lot of these people have found different things in these ancient texts. There's the Leningrad Codex. Uh,
I fully believe that ancient texts are layered like that, double meaning, encoded, I mean, encrypted, whatever. I definitely think there's more to it, especially etched in stone, like some of the old stuff. I don't think we comprehend what we're actually reading most of the time.
well, if they're running it through computer analysis and the computer is telling them, like, within a certain level of certainty, this is not something you're imagining. Like
No,
there's something to
that's what
look
I'm
at
saying.
there, you
And,
know?
and if you don't believe in coincidences, which I don't, if you were to do that and come up with some sort of code that like was eligible, like it made sense
Right.
or legible, I mean, not eligible. Yeah,
I know what
eligible
you meant.
anyway. Legible. That made sense. It's like, okay, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, you know.
But I mean, if they're predicting, the I don't know, assassination of specific people, and then or you're describing the lives of famous rabbis and these people aren't even born yet, and you can go back and say,
Right.
holy shit, what is this?
Yuvonda said, I just watched South Park. Yeah,
Or that, or you can do
that's
that,
or The
right?
Simpsons, either one.
Jonah Stark says, I have an assault stove. Do you? Right?
Who was I was listening to somebody talking about the creators of South Park. Um, Apparently they're like handed stuff to write about, and
Oh, I don't
they
doubt
make
it.
apparently they make the jokes, but at the end of every episode, they tell you exactly like the truth. And when like the last scene or whatever, there'll be like a comment or something that's supposed to be a joke, but apparently if you listen to the last scene in every episode, they're telling you like they're literally dropping truth bombs. So
I don't listen.
um,
South Park and The Simpsons both have had an odd amount
what about
of prescience.
SpongeBob's what about SpongeBob SquarePants address being Little St.
The
James Island?
what was
Right.
it? Yeah, in Bikini Bottom. What was it? What is his address?
It's something Bikini Bottom, but yet
I feel like I should know this. I feel like a
I don't know what came first or not, but if I did this and you put in that address on Google Earth, it literally takes you to a pin drop on Epstein Island.
on St. James Island, right? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So whatever. Who knows?
Right? Crazy
Um,
stuff. Crazy stuff.
all right. Is it my turn?
Yeah, by all means, sir.
According to an anonymous insider, what aerospace company has been silently developing a weaponized space station that will
Ooh.
replace the ISS in 2031?
Ooh. An
According to
anonymous
an
insider, eh?
According to an anonymous insider, what aerospace company has been silently developing a weaponized space station that will replace the ISS in 2031? A. Boeing. B. SpaceX. C. Space Force. D. NASA.
What does Robert Earl White say?
I don't know. He's been getting a lot of them right.
Right? I'm gonna go with Boeing. I don't know, maybe SpaceX. I think they're really a defense contractor anyway.
I mean, most of them are.
Absolutely.
But if you didn't know, I will read this really quick, just for the sake of it. Um, this is real news. NASA plans to retire the International Space Station by
Oh yeah,
2031 by crashing it
crashing it
into the
into. Yep,
Pacific Ocean. Yeah.
they sure
Um,
are.
but they already have a plan. Like, this is not public news. This comes from somebody who literally knows somebody who's working on this space station. So it's real intel. It's not like hearsay.
No, no, no. I'll tell you this. There's been a lot of talk recently about China possibly getting to the moon before we do and keeping us from getting up there. Like they're talking about a new space race, possible space war with China. Like it's one of the things I'm going
Right.
to be talking about on Sunday. Like this
Well,
is a
it's
very
all
real concern right now.
yeah. I mean, and that's all theatrics, I think, for just a cover for we've already been in space forever. But anyway, the answer is C, Space Force.
What?
Now you think it's just a branch of the military, but they are in
Yeah, you
fact
said company, so I thought,
I know, but what does that tell you about Space Force?
ah,
And apparently, according from this person who is physically building this space station, it's going to be larger than the Empire State Building. And the theory is that the reason they're going to crash the space station into the Pacific Ocean in 2031, they have to have an excuse when people see air traffic and things happening in the sky. It's going to be, oh, we're taking down the old space station, but they're not going to tell you anything about the new space station going up. But when people are seeing things in the sky, they're already, laying out their
right,
plausible
right, right,
deniability. Yeah.
right, right. There'll be 100 articles about how it's don't pay, nobody worry. This is fine. This
And
is
it was
fine.
began probably began development in 2020, but that's not certain.
I mean, to be fair, uh, I mean, we probably need a weaponized space station. Like, listen, space is weaponized already. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Like, I have no misconceptions about us going up there and it being like, peace, love, and, kumbaya up there. Like, this is going to be a resource war for the things that are up there as soon as and I'm not that we don't already have ships and stuff, guys, so don't at me. What I'm saying is, this is going to be the public arm of all of this shenanigans. You know,
Three
I
times, 3 times larger than the Empire State Building.
Lord Almighty,
Massive,
man, that's
massive
crazy.
space station.
That's great. I mean, China just put their new space station up there. Like they're going to bring ours down. They got to do something.
Right.
They're going to have to do something for sure. For
Star
sure.
Wars. All right, what do you got for me? What's next?
Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay, do some old school stuff here, right? Ferdinand Magellan, right? The old timey explorer dude, right?
Oh yeah, my
Ferdinand
favorite explorer.
Magellan, right? Reportedly met what creatures in Patagonia? Was it A, giants, B, birdmen, C, vampires, or D, inner earth dwellers?
I want to say all of them because I want it all to be true.
I know, we need it to be
I'm gonna.
true.
I mean, Giants is an obvious answer, but I don't know if that's the case. I'm gonna go with Giants.
Final answer?
Sure.
Let's see what the people think,
Inner Earth dwellers.
right? In Patagonia, guys, giants, birdmen, vampires, or inner earth dwellers? Looks like you've got some concurrence in the chat, Tyler. Seen a lot of
Good.
A's, a
Good.
D, right? Uh, so the answer is giants. It is giants, right? And I mean, this is crazy. So this guy Antonio Pigafetta was a chronicle, like he was a chronicler of Ferdinand Magellan's travels, and he's credited with first mentioning the encounter between the Portuguese explorer and the giants who roamed the wastes of Patagonia. I mean, and this allegedly happened during Magellan's circumnavigation of the globe. Now, Patagonia is a geographical region that is like the southernmost tip, like it's the southern of South America. Okay, so it's partly Andes Mountains. You got the Pacific Ocean on the west, Atlantic Ocean on the east. It's the bottom tip there, right? So it is unsure whether Magellan chose to name the giants that he encountered Patagones on account of the large guanaco skin moccasins they wore that left huge footprints in the snow, or whether they were named after a prominent character in the 16th century Spanish chivalric romance Pygmalion. Since Pata may have been a reference to feet, it's thought that Patagonia means land of the Bigfoot. Okay? So, but not Bigfoot like we think, like literally big feet, because these were giants. And
Right.
according to reports, Magellan not only made contact with these gigantic inhabitants of Patagonia, but even managed to kidnap two of them to take home with him. But they didn't survive the voyage, apparently. They died, you know. Um,
Well, if you got to kidnap a giant, you're obviously
two,
starving them of resources.
right?
So of
He
course they're gonna
kidnapped
die.
two giants, right? Not just one. He kidnapped two giants, apparently.
That's
I mean,
pretty. I
this
guess they cut the Achilles tendon. I don't know how to take him
yeah, I
down.
don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. He was this idea was kind of scoffed at, but there were discoveries made in 1615 and 1766. They say in 1615, the Dutch circumnavigators Wilhelm Schouten and Jacob Lemaire found graves containing human bones on the Patagonian shore, bones of beings that appeared to be 10 or 11 foot tall. And then in 1776, Captain John Byron, grandfather to the poet Byron, the poet, also circumnavigated the world, and the story spread that his crew, also encountered enormous giants in Patagonia. I mean, they think that they're part of an indigenous tribe, Tehuelche, the Tehuelche, which apparently means fierce people. But now of course we hide all evidence of giants. We claim that shit never happened. The Smithsonian takes everything and hides it in the basement, so we don't know. But
Yeah, we just did a great episode on giants, actually.
awesome. I
for
was all
those.
about the Giants this week. I got another Giants question too.
Oh, like a
Yeah,
football
right.
team?
Yeah, right. Me in
It doesn't,
sports, love them.
you know, you wonder what those old explorers really encountered. You have the age-old Christopher Columbus UFO sighting. There's things that were going on way back then. And actually, this segues perfectly into my next question.
Fantastic. I love segues.
Um,
Guys, hit the thumb if you're lurking or if you're in the chat, hit the thumbs up for me. Help me defeat the algorithms, okay? We need people to know this information. It's critical,
according to,
according to.
it's, I was like, every one of them, I was like, I'm not even going to try and get creative. Screw it. According to Robert Shapiro, if you guys don't know who that is, he's an ET contact channel, ET channel. According to Robert Shapiro, the government slash ET alliance started in what year?
Oh,
A, 1890, B, 1947, C, 1913, D, 1954.
it's either
According to Robert
47 or
Shapiro,
54, I'm guessing.
the ET, the government ET alien, or I wrote ET alien, like that's the same thing. The government ET alliance started in what year? Um, A, 1890, B, 1947, C, 1913, D, 1954.
I'm gonna go with 54. What up, alien girl? Good to see you. Yeah, I hear Glenn Greenwald is coming to hang out with you. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys are not following Alien Girl's channel, on YouTube, like, do that. I don't know what you're doing with your life. I'm gonna need you to go give her a sub, okay? And Yuvonda too. If you haven't, her links. Speaking of Yuvonda, who makes these awesome, I'm not giving away anything for free today. I will do that on Sunday. Normally, I do great giveaways for those of you that are new here. But she makes these awesome wands, all sorts of chakra, lovely stuffs. Yeah, see, Tyler's got his magical wand. All her links are in my description. Go check that out. Right? Won't.
Yep. Um,
I'm going with 54.
all right. The answer is Robert Earl White got it again. D. I'm sorry.
Oh,
A.
damn it.
1890.
Oh, that early, huh?
1890, according to this. So said that in 1890, the Zeta Grays approached our government and they created an alliance. Now, it wasn't necessarily what it is today, but they apparently, according to him, they've been working together since 1890. And the Greys actually had a space station that was used that was parked outside of our planet for 105 years before we built our first space station. And humans and ETs were using that space station until we built ours. And apparently it wasn't until 1930 when the first man-made flying saucer was made, which is interesting. Now, this is all coming from one guy, so who knows if that's true, but it's interesting about the space station. Again, we have more space stations. So apparently, before we had our space station here, the Greys had one that was parked here for 105 years until we finally put ours up there.
Oh, I'm convinced there's all kinds of shit floating around up there. Black Knight satellite, whatever else. Um, you say 1890, and all I can see in my head is that movie Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah,
Like, wasn't there around the same time? I mean, there was a gray that's allegedly buried somewhere in Texas in an unmarked grave. A
right.
gray alien buried in Texas. That was, I think that was
I
around the
know.
same time. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But the 1930 first man-made saucer makes sense if you're gonna go with like the Germans and the Maria
Right.
Orsic and the Real Society and all that. It lines up with that timing. So, who knows what the actual truth is?
The
But
Vril. We haven't talked about them in a while. We should talk about them next time. The
bring
Vril.
them up.
Right?
They're all hanging out with the Aryan race on
They
Aldebaran,
are. They are.
Aldebaran, however you say it.
Aldebaran, right? Clearly. Were you frightening me? That was the first thing that popped into my mind was Cowboys and Aliens. Like immediately. I was like, damn. Um, all right. Well, since I'm still on the whole Giants train, let's And I really want to show you guys.
Real quick. By the way, the people who said 1954, yes, that was when the Greada Treaty was signed. The Eisenhower
With
Treaty was
Eisenhower,
signed.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but that's like the more modern, like things were already happening way before then. That's just like the mainstream narrative that we get handed, and it's not even
Well,
mainstream.
the
But
right, the mainstream sub narrative, right?
exactly, yeah,
It's
it's
the
like
mainstream
mainstream.
conspiracy narrative.
Right,
That's
there you
what
go.
we believe.
Right, and of course they would love for us to believe that it only started in 1954 and
Yeah,
not
but
1890.
this is like, it's like conspiracyception, right? There's conspiracies within the conspiracies that are within
Right.
other conspiracies, guys. We gotta open our minds here,
Yeah.
okay? Um, well, since I'm all about the Giants this week, the Giants Causeway, which was allegedly filmed with a giant secret door actually closing, right? And it's made it onto the news
I know what you're talking
in
about.
the
Yeah.
home country, right? The Giants Causeway is found where?
That's interesting. I don't know.
Is it A, England, B, Ireland, C, Scotland, or D, Madagascar?
I'm gonna say Ireland. I don't know. I feel like I should know this because I've seen that video a bunch, but I have no idea
Right?
where it's at.
I want to show the video, but I'm scared that if I click on something, I'm going to start, because I have no skipped frame notifications. I'm afraid if I start clicking on things,
I wonder if I try and play it, if it'll allow
if I
me.
share screen with you, maybe if you can find it.
Well, oh, I thought you just shoot me it on Telegram or something.
Oh, I have
Or
the
can you
article. Yeah, hold
or can
on.
you not even do well the video?
The video that I have is in the article that I used to write the question. I don't have the
Oh,
video by
okay.
itself, right?
Well,
Let's
first
see.
of all, tell us what the
Okay,
answer
the
is.
answer, guys, is Ireland, right? And there was video captured at the Giants Causeway in it's Northern Ireland that they're claiming proves the existence of the legendary Finn McCool, right? This legendary giant guy. So in the video that was shared on YouTube by Paranormal Library, by the way, that's the channel. There's a mysterious door that can be seen closing amongst the rock formations at this site. I
Mhm.
mean, some people attribute the massive door, like I said, to the mythical giant Finn McCool, who, according to Irish folklore, created the Giant's Causeway a long, long time ago. I mean, for centuries, the prevailing legend surrounding the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland was that Finn McCool, he was a mythical hunter warrior of Irish mythology. He was associated with the Fenian cycle. He was behind the causeway's existence. He constructed it to reach his arch rival, another giant named Benandonner, also known as the Red Man, who was believed to roam Scotland. So he just building a big ass road. He was trying to go fight his nemesis. It's perfectly legit. But in the modern age, of course, what they want us to believe, guys, is that this is a formation of now these are 40,000 interlocking columns, right? That is supposedly attributed to volcanic eruptions like 50 or 60 million years ago, according to, UNESCO, the United Nations. Of course, this is what they tell us. I wish I could show you guys. I really do. So you can see,
I've
but
seen, I mean, I would imagine most people have seen that video. And then I've seen people debunk it because they've tried to go back there and they said they can't find the door. There's
it's
no door
probably
there.
CGI. But if you look
Yeah.
at pictures of the Giant's Causeway, these interlocking columns, like they're all.
Mhm. Right. There's something going on there.
Yes, I find it extremely hard to believe that this is a naturally occurring rock formation. I mean, they're all like, I don't know if they're hexagons, like they're hexagonal bricks
Yeah.
it's the weirdest looking thing, right? It's the weirdest
And
looking thing.
and maybe it wasn't CGI. I mean, if it closed and was designed to look like the natural formation, you might not be able to find it if it's done right.
I mean, they reported on it on the news in Ireland when
Yeah.
it happened. They had the video. They were
Right.
like, "Hey guys,
I mean, it's so easy to debunk everything. I could literally debunk my couch. I could
right?
debunk that you're sitting in a
I'm
chair right
you've
now.
debunked me. I mean, we know that I'm a bot. Like that's all right,
You know what I'm saying though? Like there, no matter what, you can prove your point on the internet. No matter what. If
right?
you're looking for information to support your argument, you can do it. So anybody's like argument, like flat Earth, for example, like you can prove it one way or the other. You can prove anything wrong. You could literally prove a couch doesn't exist because nothing is solid. Everything's vibrating at a certain rate, and
Right,
technically, there's whatever. Like there's an argument for everything. So have fun.
right. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck
Um,
with that.
I technically don't have another question, but I will ask another follow-up question.
Okay.
Um, that
Well, I have another
comes from
question or two we can do.
um. So we were talking about the Greater Treaty, right? So which of these ET races made agreements with the Eisenhower military-industrial complex in the 1950s? A. Zeta Reticuli. B. Solutians. C. The Mitra. D. The Reptilians. So we know about the treaty, but which group was the treaty made with? The Zeta Reticuli, the Solosians, the Mitra, or the Reptilians?
I'm going with the Greys, man. I'm going with A. Taylor, the answer was Ireland. It's called the Giant's Causeway. Thumper Rose.
Robert, your couch doesn't exist, brother.
No, nothing exists. We live in a
No,
simulation, man.
right.
Right? I mean,
And
we know this,
The CIA even has cheat codes. You see that?
right?
Those declassified documents
Mm,
I've been seeing going around like 55515. If you repeat it over and over, it's supposed to like do something to your pain receptors or something and reduce pain in your body.
fantastic,
Um,
fantastic.
so
What's up, UFO
according,
Mark?
the answer is actually C, the Mitra.
What? I thought it was the
Yeah.
Greys. Are
Well, I
they
mean,
Greys too?
I think it's a type of gray. I don't know much about it, and I don't even know if that's an accurate answer, but because who knows? How do we prove it? Um, either way, I don't have any information to back that up. That's just a question somebody sent me.
Source was
And
trust me, bro.
right, right, exactly.
That's my
That's
favorite.
the
Trust me,
source. Trust
bro.
me, bro. Right.
Right? Ah, that's funny. Yeah, I thought it was. I really thought it. I could have sworn Eisenhower made a deal with the Greys. Maybe they are a type
Well,
of
I
Grey.
think the Mitra is a type of gray. Now, somebody in the chat might be able to. Matthew maybe might even know that. I don't know. Um,
Right? Aside from the lizards and the Greys, I'm a little shaky on my alien species. Right? The Arcturians. Those are the blue guys, right?
right.
Right? The Lyrans aren't those the cat people?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Who else do
You
I
would
need
think
to
it is.
know?
I don't know.
I don't know. You guys help me out here. What other alien races do I the bug there's the mantids, the bug people, there's the Mars spiders guys. That just terrifies me. I don't know what the hell that is. Uh yeah, other than those maybe.
The Mitra are depicted
The
in that old
tall
like
grays. Robert Earl White says.
yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Mitra are the tall grays.
Okay,
Okay.
so it
Thank
was a
you,
gray.
Robert.
It was a gray.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
They're
Which there's
taller and
probably
more sketchy looking. Well, that's what we need, more sketchy looking aliens, right? Cuz I
right.
trust that. Yes, Thumper Rose. Sources always trust me, bro.
Yeah. According that's frightening me said according to who, I can't disclose that information.
Right?
Um,
Be safe out there, UFO Mark. The blue avians, yeah, we that's copyrighted. Alien girl, we can't talk about that. Okay, can't can't talk
you've been
about that.
seeing remember that little girl that talked about the blue avians on TikTok
Yes,
that
I sent that. As a matter of fact, I sent that to
right.
Alara. I think I sent it to you too.
Well, her mom, like, I've started following that channel, and her mom's been like getting attacked heavily
Oh,
because
I
of
bet.
that. And then she like had to put up a video like saying like, "Hey, like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, literally, my daughter is just sharing her experiences. She's like, she is like defending her daughter now because she
Yeah, just
decided
a
to share this
beautiful little
video.
being that's
Yeah.
talking about whatever. Yeah, people trip out on TikTok for sure
Oh yeah,
about.
you should see. I shared a TikTok about tunnels underground in the United States under Disney, and it caught some traction and reached like some of the quote normies, and like people have lost their mind. They're like, bullshit, nonsense. There's no tunnels underground. Like I'm like, it's funny because
Yeah, no tunnels,
we
no
think,
underground military. There's nothing. There's
but
nothing.
it's interesting when you host a podcast, you do shows like this, you talk about this stuff every week, and it just becomes like common talk. And it's
Right.
funny, we take it for granted, like people
Right.
just kind of know these things, and then it reaches like an audience where it's not,
Listen,
known.
I
And
used to have to tell Alara that about the Q stuff. Like, do you know what you sound like to normal people? Like, let me give you an example. I'd break it
right.
down to her like, do you know how crazy this sounds?
Well,
Normal people don't have any idea what you're talking about.
any of any of the stuff we're talking about sounds insane. Like I realize that.
Absolutely.
Like I'm writing a
Absolutely.
book. I'm writing a book right now for those who don't know. And when I'm writing and I'm reading it back, like it all makes sense to me, but I'm like putting
Right.
myself in like my sister's shoes or something. I'm like, man, like people are just gonna think I'm nuts. If there's
Right.
like any
Just
high
like
school
put the pipe
friends,
down, right?
right,
Pleiadians, that's another one, alien girl. Yeah, like I'm not a Q person, but I used to tell Laura all the time, like, listen, man, let me explain to you what this sounds like.
right,
Even though I
yeah,
believe a lot of the same things, like
right. But
you
I
can't
get
just
it.
walk up to, Joe Normal on the street, like, bro, let me tell you about these let me tell you about these alien underground bases here, right? They're
Right.
gonna look at you like, what drugs
Yuvonda
did you just do?
Yuvonda said, "Oh, the secret space program was written about in 2012. So much for being the first." You know what's interesting is in the 2000 book Mission to Mars by Michael Relf. I have a screenshot of the page. He literally talks about the secret space program and the 20 and back program in 2000. This like predates anything that Corey's trying to
Right.
claim, and it's like physical evidence. It's hilarious. It's laughable. Like that somebody actually has the audacity to think that they've created these terms. Like,
It's some new thing, right? There's
yeah,
nothing new.
like
There's nothing new under the sun, man.
he's attacking the English language.
Oh,
You
the
can't
tall
say that.
whites, that's another one. The Nordics, yeah, I know about
Mhm.
those guys. So people are throwing alien races in the chats to me.
Right.
I know those ones, right? Um, yeah, they do. They think we're nuts, Taylor. They definitely think we're nuts. Um, let's see. Let's do some more crazy shit I read in the news. We'll do a couple more questions. Uh, I love this one. What was the first multicellular organism to be quantum entangled? Right? What was the first multicellular organism to be quantum entangled? So we've actually done this. Was it A, cyanobacteria, B, a tardigrade, C, a prokaryote, or D, an ant?
A tardigrade.
Final answer. You just know that I
Yeah,
like talking about tardigrades.
I do.
It's one of my favorite things. My
Don't
water
forget the
bears.
cone heads. Yes, the cone heads.
Cone heads. How can we, yeah, mass quantities. How could I forget about that?
By far the best ET disclosure movie out there. The
Wonderful,
cone heads.
right? Consume
Right.
mass quantities.
Consume mass quantities. I actually loved that movie as a kid.
That
Never
was
even
great.
think like never, you don't even think about like there is like
Or
little,
Alf.
yeah, Alf. Alf is apparently, so most people don't know about Alf programming. It's a like a honeypot sex magic MK Ultra
Oh dear
program
God.
that I've heard a couple people talk about, but a lot of people don't speak publicly about it yet. But they use Alf as part of like, how like the
Well, that's.
Magic School Bus is used or Looney Tunes are used.
Mm-hmm.
Alf, for some reason, is one of the triggers for that sex magic program.
Well, that would ruin
Which,
the whole show for me.
right. It's, yeah. There's people I know because there's people who literally get triggered when they cannot see Alf. And yeah, it's really interesting.
Triggered
There's a
by
lot.
not seeing Alf.
There's a lot actually. There's so much about that never gets talked about. Most people don't know, but I personally know people who've been involved, and the testimonies are incredible, but neither person wants to talk.
I can understand that.
Yeah,
I can understand the Mars attacks aliens. What about Howard the Duck?
right.
Loved Howard the Duck. That
Or
was my guy.
Darkwing Duck. I remember that.
Darkwing Duck. Remember Darkwing Duck? That was a good
Yeah.
cartoon. So the answer is tardigrade. Obviously, thanks Tyler. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. So it's crazy. So we actually did manage to quantum entangle a biological organism, right? The tardigrade. So quantum and biological systems, these things are very seldom discussed together as they seemingly demand opposing conditions. I mean, life is like complex and hot and wet. This is how we think of it. Quantum objects, we tend to think of like small and cold and very well controlled. So, in this study, researchers observed the coupling between the tardigrade in a state of cryptobiosis and a superconducting quantum bit, and they prepared this highly entangled state between this combined system and another qubit. So the tardigrade itself is shown to be entangled with the remaining subsystems. So a tardigrade is mostly frozen water when in a state of cryptobiosis, and like here in the experiment, it was acting as an actual dielectric. It was shifting the resonance frequency of the one qubit that it sat on. And researchers have claimed that the investigation is like probably the closest realization to combining biological matter and quantum matter that we can do with present day technology. Um, and it's, I don't know, for some reason it made me think Star Trek Discovery talks about quantum physics and biology being one and the same. It's the basis for like the spore drive on the Discovery. It's the basis of the theory there. And so like whenever I see these things, of course everything for me is automatically Star Trek. But I think there's a ton of disclosure in Star Trek. But I thought the fact that we were able to quantum entangle a tardigrade was the most awesome thing in the world. I mean,
I
I'm convinced that there's a colony of tardigrades that have overrun the moon at this point because of the
prob
accident that Israel had.
probably
I told you about that,
100%.
right?
I don't know what the tardigrades that took over the moon.
Yes, the Israel shot a rocket up there. It crashed into the moon, but it was full of tardigrades as like scientific samples to see how they would react in space. S But the thing crashed. So now I am convinced that they have little colonies, like amusement parks and Ferris wheels and banks. There's like little tardigrade civilization up there on the moon. Like I know this is true. Okay,
Right. That's awesome. You
I
know,
think so.
they're saying keep Alf away from your cat. You know, because in the show he
Right,
eats
right.
cats,
He
which is
does.
now let's get
Oh,
woo.
he
Okay,
eats cats, huh?
so let's pretend like Alf is like a real ET that they modeled the show after. Let's just pretend that's a real species of ET, and they decided to use that Alf programming because it's a negative species. Now the Lyrans, however you want to say it, are known to be like the good, positive ETs, like helping us, right? Now in the show they depict Elf, the alien life form, eating the cats, like almost like mocking the Lyrans.
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Now that's woo for you.
That's welcome to Wooville, people. Welcome to
Now
Wooville.
that's totally just me thinking crazy. That's like shower thoughts.
Right? But the rest of this show has been entirely fact based. Only
Right.
that was woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um
uh,
speaking of, so I'm spoiler alert if anybody has seen the show The Gift on Netflix. Have you heard of
I
that?
have not.
So it's like a foreign show filmed in a foreign country, so there's like it's dubbed, but I think it's filmed in Turkey actually. And I don't want it, do you mind if I spoil the show for you,
I-
Foil?
I- Feel free, sir. You be hitting me with
So
shows and telling me all kinds of deets anyway. Go right
it
ahead.
actually won't ruin it for you, but um so in the show it's a Göbekli Tepe, you know, the site in
Yes.
Turkey, like the most ancient site in the world apparently. Uh so they end up discovering like a hidden door like in Göbekli Tepe, like a new discovery. And they what it leads to is like this chamber that's actually a portal to a parallel universe. And the show is incredible. It literally lays out like how time works, how time isn't linear in the quantum field. It shows everything, and then it even gets into like people having healing abilities, and shows people like this girl's being targeted because she knows how to heal people with her hands and all this stuff, and it gets into just crazy like all the stuff we talk about as a reality that show kind of discloses throughout
Oh,
3 seasons, and that's like in a super nutshell, but it's wild. It's a really awesome show,
I've
I
been
think.
watching the peripheral. I started to watch the peripheral
Yeah,
on what is this on Prime? I think
that's
that
prime.
show
That's
is
good.
crazy.
That's good too. And
That's a
that
good show.
actually that's based on what's that website you were talking about last
Oh
time?
yeah.
I don't remember
Was
the
it
name of
20?
it.
It's like 2045.com or something.
Right, and it lays out like four different
Mm-hmm.
categories of like future avatars or something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, they start with robotic avatar, then biological avatar with, it's overlaid with human consciousness, then a holographic avatar overlaid with human consciousness. Like it's a whole thing, but it does line up with the peripheral almost exactly. It's the craziest thing.
The name of the show is The Gift, Matthew. Or just Gift. It's filmed in Istanbul. Okay, thank you, Yuvonda. I like it a lot. I mean, might not be for everybody,
You said
but
it's
it's
on
pretty.
Netflix. I'm gonna have to save that. Add that
It
to my
it, it
my
gets
list.
if you remember watching Lost back in the day, and remember how Lost got really confusing because of all the
Right.
time paradoxes and stuff. It's confusing like that too. Like you really gotta start paying attention once it gets far into it because
Right.
they're going to different timelines and like showing you like it's all the same people in one timeline in a different timeline, but they're slightly different. Like it's a slightly different lifestyle. Instead of being in a relationship with this person, you're in a relationship with this person, but it's all the same group of people because of like bloodlines and stuff.
Right.
It's really
I
interesting.
like in-depth shows like that. Thank you, Warrior Biatch, for the super chat on YouTube. Love you, girl. You'll always be my favorite spirit animal. That's my whole goal. It's my goal in life, man. I want you to know that. Truly.
To be
Thank
a
you.
spirit animal.
Yes. Yes, I need to be somebody's spirit animal. Like that makes me so happy. Right? In the
Yeah.
cockles of my heart, I'm happy. Guys, thank you for the support. Let me go give these. Oh, thank you, Alien Girl, for the super chat with the little lovey lemon guy. Let me go give these people their scratching real quick. Guys, if you want to support the show, like I said, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffees, and the links, Rumble Rants, whatever you can do, Gold Pills, I appreciate it. It helps me have the time to do what I need to do. Thank you. Let me go give these people their scratching, and then maybe we'll do one more question before we get out of here. We gotta set a date. We're only doing this once a month. We gotta set a date for the next show.
I'll be next month. I'll be out of town. I'm going to Chaco Canyon
Ooh,
and some other sites around there. I'm gonna go
awesome.
collect some keys and codes and do some grid work.
Awesome. Well, if you have a day, let me know, or if not,
Yeah,
just let
well,
me
I'll
know
have to
when
look.
your first
Yeah,
available
actually, yeah,
date would be.
I'll have
So
to
your
see.
your scratching should be released on the Foxhole, guys. You can go get your prizes. For those of you that are watching on Rumble or DLive or YouTube and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, we got to support the free speech platforms. I am on Rokfin, which is an awesome place. I can say what I want over there. Foxhole is another one. If you go to pilled.net, make the free accounts, guys. Make the free accounts. Follow me over there. On Foxhole, they get prizes, right? You like they get back money for watching the show. So that's what scratching is. I release it. They win little prizes. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Check that out.
Do I win
Um,
a prize? Do I win a prize for co-hosting the
you
show?
you yes, you got to spend your time with me, sir. That's a prize in itself, man.
It
What
is.
what do you
It
mean?
is. And every time I use foil now, I'm going to think of that as my spirit animal.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I need. That's
You
all I
guys,
need,
if you
man.
want, yeah, just fold your foil into like an origami duck or something or a swan,
That,
and then that's your spirit animal is
way to
foil.
save that there. Duck. No, swan. Swan.
Yeah.
Uh
Um, yeah, guys, come hang out at our conference in Grafton, Illinois if you want to join
yeah,
us.
do my mods have the link to drop
Yeah,
for
it's in there. Giovanna just shared it. JourneyToTruthCon.com. Tickets are still available. On-site lodging is sold out, but on-site camping is not sold out. So if you want to camp, which is a beautiful land to camp on, I recommend that. It's right next to the lodge. It's not like you're camping far away either. There's also
awesome.
Airbnbs, hotels nearby and stuff, but the lodge itself and the cabins are sold out. Unfortunately, that goes quick. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. May 22nd through the 25th. Some great speakers, great lineup this year. A little more lighthearted than some of the last year was Secret Space Program. Great information, but a lot of dark information. You know, a lot of trauma, um, just a lot of traumatic stories and testimonies. So it'll be a little more lighthearted this year. We hope to see you there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can if you can't make it there, you can get the online package. There's an online streaming
Yes,
package.
and I encourage people. The live stream was great last year. There were some tech issues, but you know, we did pretty well. It's refined this year. It's going to be a lot better. We're actually trying to incorporate a way to have live stream people who purchased a live stream pass to actually be able to ask questions
Ooh,
to
good.
the presenter if there's time for questions. That's something we can't promise because it's all circumstantial and we don't know. But we're going to try and incorporate that and make the live stream experience as as good as possible. So
Awesome. Sounds like a good plan. Thank you, Death by Russ, for the can. Much love to you. Uh, I'm not your evil twin, Cool Breeze.
Aurora, you got a room but not a ticket? That's funny. A lot of people did that actually this year. They booked the room right away because they knew it was going to fill up, and then they get the tickets later.
Oh, Crystal Stuck said Aurora, Texas is where the alien is supposedly buried. That gray alien we were talking, the cowboys and aliens that we
Oh,
were
and
talking
it
about
was
earlier.
they tried to, they actually went and dug it up and it was moved. Yeah, you said that
Right?
earlier, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I actually have soil from the Aztec, New Mexico
Ooh,
1948 UFO crash site,
awesome.
which apparently there's way more information on than Roswell. Like it's a way better story, but somehow Roswell just got became popular.
Well, there was a crash at Corona, New Mexico too, which is not far
They're
from.
all over the place.
Yeah.
There's been crashes all over the planet, like every year that don't get reported. People don't know about them. But if you upon your research, sometimes you stumble across them.
Leah Worth, Grafton is near St. Louis. It's not too far from there.
It's technically a St. Louis metro area. It's just on the other side of the river. So it's in Illinois, but it's you fly into Lambert, St. Louis International, and it's
Awesome.
like 43 miles from the airport. So it's not that bad.
No, it's not. And I mean the place where they're holding it is beautiful.
Yeah, and
Um,
Yvonne is going to be a vendor
ooh,
this year too.
yeah,
So
Yvonne's gonna be
again,
selling all her awesome stuffs.
yeah. So she will be there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Guys,
By the way, I'm sorry I keep cutting you off.
go right
Matthew
ahead.
Morning is going to be there also
Yay!
doing his sessions again. Robert Earl White will be there.
Awesome.
Uh, Aurora will be there. You know, Jason Alexis will be there doing. They'll have a booth. Alexis will be doing readings. I don't know if Jace will be doing something with crypto. It's really cool this year. We have a
Got a
lot.
whole lot of stuff going on.
The vending area this year is going to be pretty awesome. I think there's a lot of cool
It
stuff
sounds
going on.
like it. Sounds like
Yeah.
it. I'm excited for you guys. That sounds awesome. Um, what else? Yeah, Robert, thank you for joining us. First time watchers. I hope you had fun here today. I will be doing, I was going to say Space Force news. Sorry, guys. Apocalypse World news Sunday at 4 p.m. here on this channel. You guys can catch that. That is with my friend Severe Anon. We talk about, all of your end times updates, information you need. You didn't know you needed it, but you needed it, man. We talk about it. We got it covered. What else? I think that's it. I think that's it.
I
I
think
thank you
so.
to my mods. Thank you to you guys for being here and checking us out and watching. I love you all. And as soon as we get a date, I'll put a link up for the next show. But until
Good night,
next
guys.
time, good night.
Oh, that was fun. I know we're still live.
Of course we are. Yeah, that was fun. I love doing this show.
It's just sometimes I don't have time to like sit there and come up with questions.
I know. That's the thing. I know.
It takes more time than you. Well, you know. It takes
No,
a lot
I
of
do
time.
know. I do know. Normally, while I'm working, I just save stuff into a file, and then I have to go back through and write all the questions and write up all the stuff like I'm going to say about it. It does. It takes a ton of time.
I do that sometimes too. I'll save stuff, but other times I'm just like, shit, I gotta like spend all day coming up with questions.
Well, I appreciate you, sir.
It forces you to research a little bit and come across stuff.
Yeah, weird stuff, new stuff.
Right on.
Right? It seems like the stream cleaned up after I wasn't playing videos anymore, except for that one time when it buffered.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was too bad actually.
No, hopefully the playbacks for my replay peeps. Shout out to the replay peeps.
One of them you did with Severe. I actually had to turn it off. It was really bad.
I know that's the one Alara I had Alara on, right?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yep, it was so terrible.
Like, oh, Laura. I was like, no. Like no one's seen her in forever, and I couldn't even watch it. Like
I know.
It wasn't even because didn't want to put up with it. I literally couldn't keep
I
up
understand.
It was so choppy.
I understand. And then the worst part was like the playback was smooth, but it cut off the second half of the show. So there was only like an hour of smooth watching, and then it just cuts off. Like it was crazy. All right, you guys, much love.
Good night, guys.